What does it mean to be authentic? I talk about this with clients a lot right now. I mean, authenticity is a topic that's certainly in vogue right now, much more than it was 5 years ago. And I think what I often hear, and I think it's a dangerous belief, is that authenticity is an excuse to be however you want to be, whenever you want to be that way. And that if you do anything to mask your intentions or mask your style or to modify your style, you're being inauthentic. And of course, I think that's a huge mistake.
There are a lot of different definitions of authenticity, and I've worked with people who use authenticity as an excuse, right? Just because some people tend to be a little ornery doesn't give them the right to scare the most junior people on their team.
But that doesn't mean that being authentic is to just say whatever you want to say and however you want to say it in any given moment based on what you feel at that time. And I think that's being confused by a lot of leaders right now.
Our view of authenticity is probably quite unique and contrarian, not surprising that we take that view. We simply believe that authenticity is what you do consistently.
I think authenticity is what you do. And I think it's what you do with the greatest frequency, and I think it's what you do every day and how you live your life. That's your authentic self.
I think it's widely confused as to what being an authentic person is and an authentic leader is. Largely because, in a self-defensive way, we want people to know what's inside us. We want people to know our intentions, our motives, what's in our heart. Unfortunately, people can't. So the only thing they can do is watch us. The only thing they can do is see us behave. And so authenticity for the best leaders is what they do. It's never in who they think they are. It's never in who they want to be. Authenticity is what you do the most consistently and the most often. That's the authentic you. I know some leaders who believe themselves to be compassionate, but very rarely act compassionately. And therefore, they're not known as compassionate leaders, even though in their hearts, they feel themselves as deep and caring people.
Leaders love to tell us something like this. They come in and will say, if people only understood who I really am, if they could see inside my heart, they'd know I don't mean to be so difficult. And the truth is, we're left telling them, well, I can't see inside your heart, and so what you do is who you are, and so what you do consistently is the representation of that.
You know, something that we say very often is that, you're pretty holographic. You are who you are all the time.
But here's another problem that we see with authenticity. Because of the common paradigm of individual difference, and because we're trying to adapt and flex to different people, we're trying to make it so that we can treat different people differently as they deserve. We oftentimes become very different people to different people. We become different people in different situations, sometimes because of status, sometimes because the situation demands it of us, we think, sometimes because we think it'll be more effective if we're different. But when we're really adapting and flexing to those differences all day long, what happens is we become very many different people to different people. And so therefore, there is no consistency to us. There's nothing that's common to us.
Being an authentic leader is about making leadership easier for both yourself and the people you lead. So from the leader's perspective, if I'm doing things in different contexts, if I'm acting one way with my team and I'm acting another way with my family, and I'm acting another way in my community with people in my places of worship or my other clubs and memberships, I have to remember which hat to put on in the middle of the day. Right? I have to remember that I'm this person when I'm in this context, I'm this person in this context. And it makes it very difficult to know what to do in every situation. So being authentic as a leader means that whatever it is that is your style, whatever it is that feels natural to you in the way that is most effective to you, you develop a style that's consistent so that you can be the same person wherever you go. Now, from a followership perspective, from the perspective of someone following you, it's easy to follow leaders that are consistent because we know what to expect from them. It's difficult to follow leaders who are inconsistent. So one day they react one way in a situation, and then the other day, in the next situation, they react the opposite way. Well, it's hard to make that leader happy. It's hard to know what to do. And so if our leader is authentic and we can at least make an educated guess as to what they'd like to see us do or how they're going to react to a particular situation, it makes them much easier to follow. It's also difficult. It's difficult to go through your life putting on a role in different places and needing to be something you're not. That doesn't mean that we express everything we're thinking at every given time, but the less we have to modify ourselves in different situations, the easier it will be to sustain over time and the more genuine it will seem.
I deal with a lot of clients where they say, well, you're telling me to engage with the board of directors that way, and that's not what I would prefer to say to them, is that being inauthentic. And I say, well, let's talk about what your motivations are. What are you being authentic to? Are you being authentic to your desire to just tell them exactly what you think? Are you being authentic to the need to secure the budget for your people that you need to secure to do the things that you need to do? And you gotta know what those motivations are and what the value system is behind it.
I can think of nothing more authentic as a leader than changing yourself to allow you to enable others around you to be better. There is nothing more authentic as a leader than that.
The range of what makes you real is important because junior people have a very small range of who they are. As you grow as a leader, you need to increase that range to show people different sides of you while still being who you really are. Because the least credible thing in the world is showing up as somebody else.
To me, authenticity is about consistency and showing up consistently every day when you're at work. It's not necessarily about telling everyone everything about who you are. It's about figuring out what about me do I need to bring to work every day.
I think being authentic means that you are being sincere in your motivations for what you do and how you do it. Do you make the choices you make in terms of your style and your behaviors in ways that are noble and they're for the right reasons? To recognize that you shouldn't show up exactly the same way in every single circumstances, that situations aren't static, they're contextual. But then underneath it, you need a value system that significantly informs who you are and what you do. And that, if you care about integrity, you care about integrity all the time.
I like how Seth Godin once put it, authenticity is totally overrated. Now, in his scenario, he says, do you really want your knee surgeon coming into the OR, grappling with his true feelings and purpose in life? Or do you simply want a professional who shows up no matter what they feel like and does the job? Professionals and admired leaders consistently do what they say they're going to do. Their authenticity is just that. It's the things they consistently do.